This podcast is not intended to provide any investment advice. The opinions expressed here by either the hosts or guests do not necessarily reflect the views of PSA, Collectors Holdings, or any of their affiliates. Any discussion of collectible values in the past or present is not a guarantee of future performance.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the PSA Pod. Ryan Green and PSA President Ryan Hoge here with you. Spring is in the air. We've got so much to talk about since the last time we checked in with you guys, and we had Ryan here in the studio. I mean, first off, you know, our biggest sports category, baseball. Baseball, we talked about baseball being in the air last time, and now baseball's here. That's kind of front of mind right now.
Yeah, when did we talk last? Had the Tokyo series just started?
It was just before.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been a fun start to the year. Me and you both playing a lot of fantasy this year.
Yeah.
You know, obviously on the collecting side of things, what's been your favorite thing so far this baseball season?
You know, I think there's been a couple of things. Seeing some of the guys that I thought were going to get off to a good start and kind of bounce back. Corbin Carroll being one.
Yeah.
I picked up some Corbin Carroll cards in the offseason.
Same.
I've got him on my fantasy team. So like that's cool to see that he's just, you know, balling out. Julio Rodriguez also doing okay. Mariners are doing great in general. I just saw they're 15-5 in their last 20 games. Mm-hmm. Best team in baseball, or at least in the American League in the last 20 game stretch. So it's kind of fun to see the Mariners doing well, which is my number 2 team, Rangers being number 1. But living in Seattle for 17 years, I've become a fan and have not seen a lot of winning there since Griffey left town.
Good
basically.
Vibes right now.
Good vibes overall. You know, I was going to say Trout was staying healthy, but then he, you know, had a knee thing yesterday, so hopefully he doesn't miss too much time there. Yeah. But overall, it's kind of fun to see. I guess we got the torpedo bats, which is interesting. It's always fun to see some different elements at play. Judge is a beast. You know, it's just good.
It's really fun seeing, especially the guys that we, you know, have a relationship here with at PSA who have been, you know, collectors and customers here at PSA. You mentioned Corbin Carroll, you know, Bobby Witt. At the time of this recording, that hit streak is now over 20 games.
Wow.
You know, Josh Young having a nice bounce back start to the year after dealing with some injuries last year. So I always feel positive for our guys. I mean, me personally, as a Cubs fan, I'm enjoying the start to the year, even though our pitching is quite questionable going forward, but no, it's been a fun start to the year, and this is a great time of the year if you're a baseball hobbyist because Bowman season is here. You got the multiple Bowman releases throughout the year,
and
it all starts with flagship Bowman.
Yes,
coming out this month.
Yeah, always fun.
Yeah, and we're gonna have you know, just like last year, we're gonna have some visitors here, both in Santa Ana, in Harborside on Bowman release day. What do we got coming?
Yeah, no, this will be really fun. So, folks might remember that we've hosted some of the larger breakers at our offices, and they're able to offer kind of a unique experience where, you know, cards will get graded, you know, without having to be shipped, and kind of fast turnaround for some of the higher dollar stuff. And so it's kind of fun. And then for me, being a Bowman guy, like I love to hop in on this stuff. And so in New Jersey, we're having We the Hobby. They're going to be there for several days, have a lot of different breaks that they've got going on in our New Jersey office. And then out in California, we're having Blez breaks come back. It's been about a year and a half since they were out here last.
It was Bowman Draft.
It was Bowman Draft in 23, and we had Jacob Wilson
Mm-hmm.
and Jared Blesnick and myself. And, you know, I wasn't planning to be on camera for any more than maybe 45 minutes or an hour. And I think I stayed for 4 hours. It was really fun.
How can you not?
Oh, it was great. I think we ended up, I don't even know how many, it was like 50, 60 cases, I think, of like HTA or, you know, Breakers Delight or whatever the product was. One of the easier opening ones. And so I'm going to be back on camera with Jared, I think, on Friday. And we're gonna break. We're gonna do a little Q&A. So it'll be really fun. I'm having to brush up on my prospects and like who are the guys to chase in this release. And it's always fun to just kind of see the new design, knowing that you're going to have different variations of the design with Bowman Chrome and Bowman Draft, ultimately kind of ending the year. So yeah, I'm pumped. It's always a fun time.
There's going to be fun chases this year. It's a really interesting product. I mean, one of my favorite things about flagship Bowman every year is you get a couple of the big names, at least one from the previous year's draft class held for 2025 Bowman. You look at the heritage over the years of some of those guys who've been held for, the year forward. Bobby Witt is always the biggest example from the 2019 draft class, but held for 2020.
Yeah.
Bowman, this year you got Charlie Condon, you got Weatherholt from the Cardinals, a couple really good, hitting infield prospects. What else we got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my list, my cheat sheet. I'm looking at the tier 1 guys. You talked about Condon and Weatherholt. They're up there. They're also 22.
Yeah.
It's kind of old to be in Bowman,
Maybe they're closer to the majors.
Yeah, maybe. That's fun. But I think where some people really geek out with the Bowman is getting these teenage prospects that are, super early in their careers. And so you have Jesus Made, hopefully I pronounced that properly, 17-year-old shortstop prospect with Milwaukee. He is just starting his professional career, but already tearing it up. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people really high on him that he's got the physical abilities to be something special in a few years. You got Franklin Arias with Boston, another shortstop, 19 years old. He's at high A right now.
And Boston does shortstop prospects really well.
They do. They got a pretty good track record there. So, and the other thing that you find with a lot of these young guys that start off at shortstop, it just means they're like the best athletes and they can move anywhere. So they might move out to center field. They could move to second, third, whatever. So you see them start there and then branch out. But yeah, those two guys in particular are pretty high on the list. And then there's a bunch of other solid guys that are kind of in that tier 2, tier 3, category. Again, a lot of 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-olds. So it's going to be really fun. So this is where people can speculate. They can do their research and say, hey, I'm going to get in early and I'm going to load up and then see what happens one day. And then everybody plays the timing game.
Yeah.
When do you want to sell? Do you sell when they're, having success in the minors? Do you sell when they get called up? Do you sell when they actually achieve something notable in the majors, like winning Rookie of the Year, winning MVP? And speaking of, did you see the stuff that Topps is doing now with the red rookies?
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
I'm very curious to see how tough those are to pull. It's going to be fun.
I'm going to call it now. We're going to pull one when I'm doing the break.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to open enough.
You're speaking it into existence.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. We're going to pull one. I don't know who, but I have a feeling we're going to pull one. Okay. 2.5 hours of breaking. We'll definitely get one.
Yes.
But yeah, they have all these different things where if the player wins Rookie of the Year, you can redeem it and actually get, cash credit with Fanatics to spend elsewhere. If they win MVP, you get more. If you hold it and they make the Hall of Fame after 10 years after retiring, I think it's like $1,000 in Fanatics cash or something. I don't know.
It's a long hold.
It's a really, I don't know if I would wait and hold something potentially for 20 years, but kind of clever.
You know what's cool about it is it really does a nice job of straddling that fence of it's appealing to both people who, want to play that gamification of the hobby a little bit, but also want to collect. And I mean, you got to think those cards are going to be somewhat rare. They're going to be collectible. So maybe you're not holding it for 10 years or 10 plus years with that thought in mind of eventually I'm going to wait to see if this guy gets in the Hall of Fame, but you're collecting it. And then maybe down the line, it turns into a nice, pleasant surprise for you.
Yeah. No, totally.
So that's going to be really fun.
And I have a feeling these are the paper cards too.
Yeah, I think so.
So it'll give folks another reason not to just junk the paper or skip through it, spend a little more time looking at that. That way they're available too in some of the other products that might be heavier on the paper where say like they've got their Breakers Delight thing, which I think is all chrome.
That was one piece of news that Topps had come out this past week from the industry conference about the Red Rookie program. They've got some really exciting stuff, I think, that's going to appeal to all collectors. This is for, whether you grade, whether you're with PSA, just collect in general. They announced that the NBA license, they're going to have it as of October 1, 2025. So the beginning of next season, basically. Yeah. With Cooper Flagg and this incredible incoming rookie class. That's great timing. They showed some image previews at the conference of what LeBron and Wemby on-card autos are going to look like. Really cool stuff. And then they announced the NFL license. They're going to have it April 1, 2026. And talk about excellent timing. Again, that's about 3 weeks before
the draft.
A really deep quarterback draft.
Totally.
You're coming right back into football with the full license when the next Manning is arriving, potentially. So that's really cool. And I was personally really excited to see that some of the other IPs that they have, like Stranger Things, they're going to have a Stranger Things Chrome product coming out. Dune, they're going to continue that going with how big that franchise has become now. It's much bigger than when they first launched that in 2022 with that IP. And then, of course, you have the final season of Stranger Things coming this summer. So just the timing around all these things, it's really an exciting time. And I mean, honestly, this is just like my favorite. It's cool to see this be a great hobby time of the year because this is my favorite time of the year sports wise.
Yep.
Like, I mean, think about since the last time we were here, the Masters.
Yep.
Right.
The Masters was great this year.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't draw that up any better, right?
Best Masters that I've ever, witnessed. Like it was amazing to watch Rory, kind of shake off the ghosts.
Yeah.
Having a 3-way tie with Rory on the, through 15. Really amazing.
Yeah.
Just so much energy. It was so fun to watch and, happy for him. Golf ratings, I think for that. And even other events are off the charts with some of the Live PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Controversy. I think it's actually going by the wayside a little bit. And I think PGA Tour is really healthy right now, but Masters this year, really, really fun to watch. Like what a great, win for Rory, but also, tight, beginning to end, and Justin Rose holding that lead, after 2 days, and then people thinking, oh, he's out.
Yeah.
Then he comes surging back. A lot of fun.
When have you ever watched? There's very few times in my life where I've been watching an event and I just feel like physically ill for someone when something happens, not injury related. I'm saying like just performance related. When he misses that putt on 18, I just I felt ill on my couch.
Yeah. I mean, I think people got so invested with Rory this year. Clearly the patrons there, were on his side.
Yeah.
Really wanted to see him get that win. And it was up and down so much throughout the whole week, getting, what was it, day one? I think he was 4 under
and then
14.
had the collapse at the end.
And then he double bogeyed 15, double bogeyed 17 to end it even par. And it's like, bouncing back from that, highs and lows throughout the week, but happy for him, but it was a lot of drama, really exciting.
At bouncing back from that and the start on Sunday just adds a little extra juice to that green jacket. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's really fun. Good for the sport of golf to see that level of competition and drama too.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite sporting, I don't even call it a sporting event, but sports moments of the year is always the NFL draft.
Oh yeah.
I'm such a football guy. I miss football Sundays so bad. But there's some really exciting names out of this class. And I feel like as a collector, it's gotten so much more fun in recent years now that like Topps is making the Bowman U, and you can actually start collecting some of these guys before they get into the NFL, and like collectors can be so much more familiar with these guys.
Yeah. Well, we had talked
before,
we had talked a couple episodes ago that I picked up a Cam Scadaboo.
Yeah.
Red Shimmer out of Bowman U auto. I'm a Sun Devil. He's probably the best Sun Devil that we've had, and probably since Terrell Suggs.
Yep.
And it was kind of fun to just get that cool card. And I was excited to see him get drafted by the Giants. I'm not really a Giants fan, but maybe I'll end up rooting for them a little bit more.
Would you have felt as motivated to get a card of him, say this fall, in a Giants uniform, given that connection? Or, I mean, nothing's going to match being able to get a really nice high end card of him in a Sun Devil uniform.
I know. That's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah. So it's fun. I feel like the way that the NFL has made the draft now a bigger production. You got different host cities and all of that. Yeah. Is also pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun watching my Bears pick in Green Bay.
I know. I was going to say,
and like hearing the boos every time.
The haters.
It was fantastic.
And Des White coming out. Doing the picks. I remember Des. He was one of the guys, one of the sets that I collected back in the day.
2000
was the 2000 Upper Deck Pros and Prospects set. And he was in there.
Great Brady card in that set.
Yes. Yeah. Still have the Brady card.
Yeah.
But they were all in their college unis. So that was a fun set. But no, so this morning I was reading this article on ESPN.com by Matt Miller, and he was kind of doing his rankings of the picks. And knowing you're a Bears fan, I thought that this was pretty fun. He's got Luther Burden is the number 1 overall pick based on, probably value and where he was drafted. The Bears picked him 39th overall in the second round. This guy had him rated as number 13 overall and number 1 wide receiver. If you take Travis Hunter to the side, because he's kind of a special snowflake. So that was cool to see. And then you had another Bear on the list with Loveland, your tight end that was their first round pick, 10th overall. He had him ranked 6th.
Yeah.
So cool to see.
I'm pumped about this. There's now granted, I'm a Bears fan, so I'm used to optimism this time of year, only for heartbreak come the fall.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard not to be excited right now. And I mean, it's pretty cool. You see, like, Luther Burden's a perfect example, a guy I'm really excited about. I can start collecting him already. I mean, we were looking at some rankings of players in this draft class just based on their Bowman U cards in the NIL era of how they rank in submissions. Like, Luther Burden is the 8th most submitted player in this draft class already to PSA. Like, he has
crazy.
that many cards already here. Ashton Genty is far and away number 1. Cam Ward number 2. Hunter, Shador, Jackson Dart, the names you'd expect.
Yeah.
So
Is Cam Scattaboo even on the list?
he's not.
Oh, that's sad.
But he also didn't have cards until this year.
True.
Still new to the hobby.
Yeah.
But I was personally very excited when I was watching the draft Friday night, the second round pick. I completely forgot Luther Burden was even available still. I assumed he was gone.
Yeah.
And when they called that name, I was speechless. So
You guys are loaded at wide receiver now.
it's
Remind me who the quarterback is.
Caleb Williams.
That's right.
So I'm gonna stay positive.
Okay.
I'm gonna be very excited for the season. I'll probably be very annoying here in this office, but trust me, I'm prepared to get hurt. So so obviously big spring. We got a big summer on tap. We love having you come in here in the studio about once a month because we like giving some updates here behind the curtains as well. What's going on here at PSA? Look, since the last time we talked with our audience, the big topic is we had some news around turnaround times. We had some changes. So let's walk through that and just kind of how things have gone these past few weeks here internally since those changes were announced.
Yeah. So I think it was April 7th, we announced that on the bulk and value service tiers, we were pushing estimated turnaround times out from 45 business days to 65. So essentially adding another month to the turnaround process. It's primarily due to this insane demand that we're seeing that really started kind of at the end of December and has continued throughout the year. What we're doing to address it, I think people are like, oh my gosh, how can you not be prepared for this? We are prepared. You also don't want to overstaff and overbuild for demand that might not exist. So we're very planful with how we do our financial planning and business planning for the year. We're just seeing demand that we weren't anticipating for at least another year. So we're ahead of time. We're pulling forward hiring plans. We've been deploying some of our automation machines and some of the new software that's going out to make our teams more efficient. But the biggest part of it, though, is people and being able to train and hire people, get them up to speed in the various departments. It all starts with grading. When you're bringing on graders, we have a very rigorous training process where those folks really aren't grading cards for at least 3 months after they get hired. It's multiple months of training and kind of apprenticeship before they're, kind of out there grading customer cards. And so that takes time. You just can't flip a switch, to scale that out. But we are grading at 3 different locations today. We've got Tokyo, Santa Ana, and Jersey City. All have increased their output. All are doing significantly more than they were doing in Q4 last year, and we're going to continue to grow. So we anticipate being able to handle more daily output to match better the demand that we're seeing.
Yeah.
And so what we're really trying to do, I think that the turnaround times was more of a reflection of reality, that we were getting to the point now where it was going to be hard for us to meet kind of that 45 business day estimate for stuff coming in once we got into May. So that's why we made that change. And then the other thing that people are probably noticing is that maybe if you look at past years, they were used to seeing Collectors Club monthly and quarterly specials that were like lower priced bulk services. We're not running those right now because we can't handle the volume. And so and we're doing even things on price adjustment, like we've adjusted up the TCG bulk rate again for the second time this year. That's really us trying to suppress demand a little bit. Yeah. That's really the goal behind that. Yeah. It's not a money grab. It's literally like, hey, stop sending so many cards, and we can do that by upping the price to allow us to kind of catch up and keep our heads above water. Now, the good news is, I mean, we're consistently shipping over 1.5 million cards a month now. Like, we have built an incredible company that can do things at scale. And so we're staying on top of this, but we're also being very mindful that we don't want to get buried like happened to the company back in 2020, 21, beginning of 21, when we had to actually suspend pretty much all service levels. So for now, we're being smart. about the pricing, about the promotions that we do, and being transparent with the estimated turnaround times.
Yeah. And I think it's also good to give a reminder here, something we talked about earlier. This works both ways. The levers can move in both directions, right? So right now you've upped turnaround times because this is kind of what the business is, what the demand is kind of calling for and leading us to do. But as things kind of clear up, and we saw this happen a couple years ago where, the turnaround times were going faster than proposed and prices came down. So it works both ways.
It's very dynamic. Yeah. So just because we push turnaround times out doesn't mean we're not going to pull them back in.
Exactly.
And I think that is our goal, is once we get confidence that the number of units that are kind of in-house, what incoming demand looks like, is back at a level that we feel confident, we'll absolutely shorten estimated turnaround times again. Mm-hmm. And we'll look at doing specials again. These aren't gone forever. It's literally a moment in time. We're managing the business as effectively as we can because we want to still keep reasonable turnaround times for these service levels. And not have a repeat again of what we had 4 years ago. But yeah, it's a valid point. I mean, last spring, so you go back maybe 12, 15 months ago, we were routinely turning around at 45 business day estimated orders in less than 20, 25. Mm-hmm. So, it ebbs and flows with demand of the business.
Yeah, exactly. The other big thing going on has just been, let's take a look at the impact of what's going on with tariffs.
Yeah, that's
on the business.
That's been a curveball.
It's been a curveball that we've been managing as we go. Let's talk broader view. We, suspended direct submissions from outside of the U.S., but there are still ways that customers can submit from outside the U.S. Specifically, a good example is in Canada with our submission center in Halifax, which will be relocating to Toronto later in the year. But what other impacts have we seen?
Yeah, I'm sure listeners are very aware of this whole kind of tariff situation and how fluid it's been. Information has been murky at best. Positions change, week to week. And so we're trying to be as fluid as we can be while protecting our customers and also looking after, our business and making sure we're doing the right thing for the company. The way that a lot of these tariffs are structured, it's around the value of the item, not necessarily the service level. So some of the potential fees that could be incurred are pretty exorbitant. Like they're high, and I don't think our customers would want to have a surprise charge, which is what led us to this kind of extreme measure of we're going to block access to the online submission center from IP addresses outside of the U.S. It's a pretty brute force method of doing that. What we're recommending people do is work through one of our dealer partners in those affected countries. Or if you happen to be in a country where we have a submission center like Canada, like you mentioned, submit through the PSA Canada Subcenter. Yes, I know it's using paper forms right now. We are working on the tech modernization. So once we kind of get the new receiving center stood up in Toronto later this year, we'll also have the tech solution to go with it. So you can use the mobile app, you can use the website to submit. So that's coming. Yeah. I know it's painful right now. Japan, we have the full solution.
Yeah.
So we did know, there are Japanese customers that like to submit to the U.S. for various reasons. They have another outlet. They can submit directly to the Japan office. Customers in other countries should work with their local dealer, hobby shop that's a PSA partner. We are working with those folks in our network to be able to navigate kind of the tariff and custom situation to minimize or avoid these fees. It's just extra work that requires these partners to do more things, and we're working closely with them so that they're equipped. Hopefully things get better and change, and we'll respond when those things change in the market. Yeah. But this is also why we're investing more internationally. We talked about we're going to be expanding to Germany later this year. That's still in the works. We're looking at other international markets where we can either work with partners or set up our own kind of receiving submission center. So it's challenging, and I empathize with the customers that are being impacted by this, because it's not fun. It's not fun for us. Yeah. But we're just trying to stay on top of it to make sure that we're adhering to what the laws are. We've already gotten some bills passed to us via the shipping carriers when they come in because stuff, wasn't paid. And so, that's what we're trying to avoid is surprise fees for customers. But hopefully we get to a better state here in a few months.
Yeah, and you mentioned going through one of our authorized dealers. You can go to psacard.com and find our full dealer directory. Look for dealers who are closest to you, no matter where you're located. You mentioned expansion internationally in Germany. We also last week just went live in London.
This
with
was
a
cool.
PSA submission center within the Fanatics flagship store in London, where customers can now bring cards and submissions and drop off direct with PSA and have them shipped from that shop.
Yeah. No, it's really exciting. We've been working with Fanatics on this for the last few months. And just to be clear, so folks know how it works, you would need to submit through the Fanatics account. So it's like a dealer type account, not your own submission. So you can't create your own submission and then go drop it off, but you could take your cards in, create a submission there with Fanatics collectibles, and they will take it in, ship it to us in the US. We'll handle all of that. And then you can pick it back up from them in person. It's a really cool store. I wasn't able to go out there, but we had a couple folks from the team kind of attend the grand opening event that Lewis Hamilton was at. It looked like pandemonium.
That's what I heard.
Really, really cool design though in the store. I think it's a showcase for the hobby. So kind of cool to see. It's in a really high rent, high traffic district in London on Regent Street. So cool to partner with Fanatics on that, and hopefully it makes grading with PSA a little more accessible for folks in the UK.
Here in the US, speaking of partnerships, we've just continued to see the scaling up of the partnership with GameStop, and a lot of really positive experience on or feedback on the experience of submitting through GameStop shops as well.
Yeah, that's been going really well. I think, to say it's exceeded expectations, I think would be an understatement. Yeah. We're seeing so many new customers. The vast majority of people that are actually submitting through GameStop to PSA are first-time PSA submitters, which is great to see.
Great entry point.
I think that was the idea behind the partnership when we first started talking with the GameStop team about what we could do together. They have such a massive retail footprint, and there's a lot of overlap, I think, in the customer demographics of, who are gamers, who are interested in collecting, whether it's Pokemon cards or sports cards, and felt like this was a natural thing that we could, experiment with. And no, it's going super well. We've done a rollout to, some number of stores. We are planning to increase that with them. We've been working together to make sure we get certain operational things dialed in. Some of it relates to the scaling and capacity challenges that I talked about earlier, but there are plans to expand in the coming weeks and months to more stores, potentially offer more services down the line. So it's really cool. We're really happy with that partnership and think it's a great thing for, customers when you've got, a partner that's got a 2,000 plus retail store footprint. It's pretty much all over the United States. It's really easy for customers to be able to walk in and learn more about PSA and reduce some of that friction or tension of having to ship a package to us.
And, closing it out, another great partnership for us has been with eBay through the PSA Vault, and a couple really impressive features that have rolled out since we last spoke with the audience. You have now the Grading Add-On feature where any card that is, I believe it's 250 and above, correct? Or 200 and above, that's coming to 250 and above, that's coming to through the Authenticity Guarantee program. You can purchase PSA grading on top of your order and just send it straight to grading once it goes through the AG process. And then you can also now list from the PSA Vault to eBay at Buy It Now with best offer capability.
Yes. Yeah. Both are really cool. Yeah. On the first one about the grading add-on, again, it's in the spirit of reducing friction and complexity for collectors. We know a lot of people will buy raw cards and then they'll immediately want to, get those graded. So the idea here with this integration is the cards over $250, raw cards, are already coming to PSA. We're the partner with eBay here on their Authenticity Guarantee program. They're coming to our building. Once they come in, and I think we've got service levels turned on at the Value Plus, that's the $39.99 service level and above. Once it goes through the authenticity check, it literally just goes kind of across the building to the grading flow, and it goes through our normal grading flow and will be then evaluated by the grading team, get a numeric grade assigned, get encapsulated, and then sent back to back to the customer without having to mail multiple times and, waiting. And then on the marketplace side, that's been going gangbusters. We're again, really, really happy with how this has been received by customers since we rolled it out last June. So we're kind of coming up on about a year that we've had this live. It started with just auctions. We rolled out fixed price listings late last year. And then, just in the last couple of weeks, we enabled support for best offers. So now when you have things listed in the fixed price store, through the PSA store on eBay, you can optionally turn offers on. You can set different thresholds. I think by default, it automatically declines offers below 50% of your list price. You can go customize that if you want. I've taken advantage of that. I've sold a handful of cards, and it's kind of fun to see those offers come through. Yeah. We don't have counter offers, so I'm sure people are going to be like, oh, are you going to do that? It's something that we're working on. I don't have any timelines to share, but you can reject offers and then people can try again. So there's essentially some sort of notion of counter offer in there where it's kind of try again. But so far so good. We're really happy with how this has been received by customers, and we're seeing a lot more listings go live that have the best offer capability enabled. So we're super happy with that partnership with eBay.
I know I'm seeing more and more of it as I continue to just search for cards on eBay on a daily basis. So it's really cool to see cards in the PSA from the PSA eBay store listed with best offer capability. And one note on the grading add-on that I love sharing. I know there might be a little hesitancy of like a lot of people like to buy cards, get to look at them first, clean them, sell them. The authenticity guarantee program, the people who are inspecting those raw cards that come through are confirming that the condition of the card matches the listing to a point where you're not going to really be getting surprised by to guard against being surprised of what you're buying. That's been really impressive. I know myself as a buyer, I've had a couple raw cards in the last 6 months that I've purchased where eBay AG has reached out to me and said, hey, this card just came here. We found this. And they send very detailed photos. Do you want to still get the card? Do you want to do a refund? So that program is getting very sophisticated as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And you probably won't be as surprised. Now, for the people that are like, is it a 9 or a 10? That's harder. But if there's like a card that in the photos, you can't see like a hidden wrinkle or a dent in the surface that would really significantly impact the grade, that'll be found and that'll get disclosed to you. So you'll have that kind of window to decide, do I want to proceed or not with this?
Yeah. Really exciting stuff all around.
A lot of good stuff cooking here.
It's been a really fun spring. It's going to be an even more fun summer. We got so much more coming up. We'll be back next month. We'll be talking once again with our audience. Hopefully we got plenty more updates to come, because
maybe we'll tease a little bit of the national. We're deep in national planning, and so next time we talk, if it's at the end of May or beginning of June, we'll have a little more to share. Maybe
we're gonna have plenty regardless. A lot going on here. Ryan, thank you for taking the time today, as usual. It's been really fun talking with you and talking shop.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks to everyone for listening. We'll be back next time here on the PSA Pod.